Hello and welcome to Talking Good Game, and it's a preview of West Ham United against Middlesbrough at the London Stadium. I'm Gio from Hammers Chan. I've got Charlie with me as well.
Hey, you're right.
And I've got Gonzo.
Hello.
It's Hillo from them, and it can be Hillo Championship if West Ham United are not very careful, as we've lost 5 of our first 6 fixtures. However, Saturday is a new month and hopefully it's a new start. Similar to what was said before the Watford game, similar to what was said before the West Brom game, and similar to what was said before the Southampton game. Hopefully, it's 4th time lucky, and it will be a new start. Charlie, it's been a while since you've on, so let's start with yourself. What is your thoughts on our opponent, Middlesbrough?
Out of all the teams that got promoted, I thought they were the ones who had the best chance of staying up because they played maybe not boring football, but they were very strong at the back. I mean, the result everyone looks at is the Middlesbrough City score when they managed to go and beat Man City away. They were very strong at the back and they were very solid. And they've not quite continued that as much as I thought they would. I thought they would have gotten a lot more lower score draws or just straight up 0-0 draws so far this season. But they are capable of it, and they've gone about their business in the transfer window really well. They've brought in some really decent players.
Have you seen them at all this season, Charlie?
I've not watched any of their matches all the way through. I've only seen, I think, about 45 minutes of one, and then the rest of the highlights.
Gonzo, what's your thoughts on the Riverside boys?
They've got a good chairman. I can't even watch Match of the Day at the moment, to be perfectly honest with you. So I watched Arsenal-Chelsea live the other day. My knowledge of anyone other than West Ham and who West Ham have recently been thrashed by is very, very limited. But I know that they purchased Negredo. Obviously, they have Stuart Down in there and Jordan Rhodes, of course, as we know. Jordan Van Rhodes, the Dutchman, Jordan Van Rhodes. Private joke, everybody. So, do you know what? They're doing well. They're doing better than I thought they would do, and their league position looks a bit better than ours.
I wouldn't say they're doing well. They've only got 5 points. They've only won 1 game. They've only kept 1 clean sheet. And the results, they drew at home to Stoke, which looked like a good result. But actually, it turns out, given Stoke's results, it wasn't that good a result after all. They drew away to West Brom. They beat Sunderland. They got beat by Palace, Everton and Spurs. So tough 3 fixtures for Middlesbrough, but they are finding the net. Do you fear Negredo, Charlie?
A little bit, but not really. I think he's past his best for quite a while now. I don't think it's the same Negredo. When we think Negredo, we see him at his peak, like early Manchester City time, where he was just like unbelievably strong and just powerful. And I'm not really that afraid of him. I think if they can figure out how to put all the pieces of the puzzle together that they've got, you know, Stuart Downing whipping in balls, they've got Adama Traore there, who could put in a good ball. You've got Gaston Ramirez, who can be a great playmaker when he decides not to be a crazy man. Like, they have the pieces of the puzzle to put together, but right now I look at him and I'm not afraid of him at all, really.
Right, well, now I'll tell you, he scored 5 in his last 4 games against West Ham. Granted, they were from Manchester City, but we all know what a striker's like when he comes up against West Ham and he's got a good record against West Ham. Gonzo, does that make you fear him a little bit more than you might have done 30 seconds ago?
Well, I'd fear Peppa Pig if he was playing up front. No, actually, it's not a he, is it? Peppa Pig's a girl. Anyway, doesn't matter. Whoever was playing up front, I'd fear them at the moment. Did Negredo not score 3 of those in the 9-0 aggregate thrashing, though? Is that
I'm
right?
not sure.
We might have scored a hat trick. I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but he might have scored. So that's gonna slightly inflate his statistics somewhat. I fear anyone. I fear anyone, and I fear everyone at the moment. Accrington Stanley nearly did us. Astra did do us. Make no mistake about it. Middlesbrough can, and I'm sure they're looking forward to it as well. And if Negredo wants to increase his Premier League tally, then I think if there were 2 clubs he'd be looking at, it would be West Ham and Sunderland at the moment, who he would consider to be bankers that he could score against. So yeah, I'm fearful. I'm very fearful generally, basically.
I've seen bits and pieces of them this season. I can't even remember who watched them. I think I watched them quite a lot against one team. I can't remember what fixture it was, but they do look vulnerable from set pieces for some reason. For some reason, before I looked at them tonight, I thought in my head, when I thought Middlesbrough, I thought they're very vulnerable this season from set pieces. But unfortunately, it's not really our strength. We're struggling to clear the first man at corners, so I don't think Middlesbrough's weakness is something we're going to prey on unless we look at it. Well, let's go talk about West Ham. Before we do that, it's the man in the middle. It's Neil Swarbrick. Now, if you haven't heard of him, it's because he's not the most experienced Premier League. Just last weekend, he was refereeing in the Championship. And that's why Middlesbrough had him twice last season. They beat Leeds 3-0 and Derby 2-0. This season, they've had him, though, when they got beat 2-1 by Crystal Palace. West Ham haven't had him this season so far, but we had him twice last season, both up in the northeast when we got beat by Newcastle 2-1 and we drew 2-2 against Sunderland. Gonzo, are you confident? And I know we're in a rubbish record. I know that. But Middlesbrough have lost their last 3. They've only got 5 points. We've got 3. I mean, if we beat them, we'll go above them. So they're not the most fearful opponent. Are they the right opponent, do you think, for Saturday?
As best as we could wish for, maybe. Whether they're the right opponent, I don't know. I think they're looking forward to playing us more than we're looking forward to playing them. I'd say that. It depends how ambitious they are. They could come down and beat us. They might come down and look for a draw, though. If that's the case, I don't know. It's very, very tough. It's tough to be analytical because it just feels so rubbish at the moment, really. And I know we're trying to look forward to the next game, but every week I say this will be the one that we win. So I think we're better. Whether we will, we better win this. It's crucial. This is must. With last week was must win, but this is even more must win than last week.
Will you, Gonzo, are you going to panic if we lose? Are you going to be hitting that big red button?
Yeah. It's not going to be good on Saturday. If we lose, it's not just am I going to panic. The Watford result was bad, but there was some troubles with the stadium and the crowd, which deflected a little bit from the criticism. The last game, I said in the vlog, didn't I? I don't know what was worse, a 3-0 loss or a 4-2 loss. I guess it is a 3-0 loss, but because there was no hope in it. But that didn't have the distraction. It wasn't clouded. So the emphasis was very much on Slaven and on the team. I just think with everything that's gone on this week, which you did that fantastic video with Tom, so I don't want to touch on everything that's happened, but stuff has happened this week, whether you think it's good or bad. So statements from the owners and the players. You either think the players going out for a morale building exercise was a good idea, or you look at it from the other point of view and you think it's a bad idea. But whatever stuff has happened, I just think the focus is now squarely on the team. I switched on TalkSport on Monday, and it was the first subject on Monday, and that was it was in the morning show at 10 o'clock, and then when I was driving home from work in the drive time show, West Ham was the first topic on then. So the focus is on. So if we lose this one, big time red button, and answer your question, not just from us, the media, everyone, it pressures on, panics on then, definitely.
Charlie, been sitting there patiently. What changes are you hoping to see on Saturday afternoon from Mr. Bilic?
It's not even from Bilic. The change I want to see is just in the attitude of the players. I think you pointed it out. I was watching the Matchday Experience vlog, and you were screaming when, I can't remember which goal it was. I want to say it was the second one, when it went in, that no one was talking to each other. Everyone was just wandering back into their positions as if this was the norm. And what struck me, like the Watford game, when they scored, it was like everyone expected it. It was like there was this feeling throughout the team that once the goal happened, it was like, oh, there we go. It's happened now. We're just going to lose now. And that's our biggest problem. Like, I feel at the moment, I look at our team and I genuinely think it doesn't matter who we play in what position. The second they start pressurizing us, we're going to crack. And I feel like it's an attitude problem. So that's the biggest change I want to see. I want to see Oxford play. I want to see Norvite playing as a DM. I want to see, there's so many things I want to see. I want to see Ashley Fletcher start up front. I want to see Martinez get on the bench. I want to see all these things. But at the moment, I look at it and I say, I don't know. I don't think it matters who we play. I think we're still going to suffer with that problem. And until our squad as a unit learns to get over that sort of hump that we're in at the moment, I don't really see much is going to change.
Gonzo, is there any changes you want to see from what the side we've seen against Southampton. It doesn't look like we've got any injuries returning, so we've got the same. Billich has got the same pool of players to select from.
Well, I think your point. I think if we're going to have to do something on the fullback situation, then only change one position, so we only have one player playing out of position. So if we've got a fit right back, let's have him at right back, and then let's just shoehorn someone in at left back. You don't in any walk of life, you never want to go out with any regrets. And I think it's really important for Bilic to be proactive rather than reactive. Bilic is reactive. He has to learn the hard way that Antonio doesn't work at right back and so on and so forth. He needs to be proactive, and he needs to at least make sure that if things do turn out for the worst eventually somewhere in the line, he doesn't want to look back and think, oh, if only I'd have done things differently. He's given everything else a go. It's now time to change. I'm thinking about your video that you did with Tom. Tom was saying he wanted Payet in the middle so he didn't have to track back and defend. You made the point that Bilic almost writes down his team and then decides where he's going to play them. I think he needs to start from fresh, and I think he needs to forget his former allegiances, and he needs to absolutely put Oxford in. I'd just go for something completely different. I'd try and put Martinez in there. I'd do do you know what? Even if Samuelson was around, something, I'd stick a couple of youngsters in. I really would. I'd mix a team around, Obiang or whatever, chuck him in. I would change some stuff. I would change 4 or 5 positions in that team. I don't really care how he does it. I just think he needs to do it for himself, so as he can say, you know what, I had a right go. I changed things rather than playing a similar team that's been capitulating against everybody.
I think we need new tactics. We need a new attitude, and I think we need new players on the pitch. Simple as that. Adrian shouldn't have been in goal against Southampton. I think about 80% of West Ham fans were wanting Randolph in. He had a good game against Southampton, but the point is, he shouldn't have been in the sticks in the first place. Bilic needs to find his balls and start making changes. He needs to find them. It's good. I know I'm basically a way to say what Gonzo just said there, but I have no regrets. He's going to shoot himself in the foot. Right now he's tying the noose around his own neck, and he needs to stop it. Every West Ham fan wants to see Bilic succeed. No one is calling for him to be sacked. We're calling for Bilic to wake up and make changes. Now, we keep talking about the fact that he had to learn the hard way about Antonio, but again, against Southampton, he still put him right back. He still put the Premier League's top goal scorer at right back for the last half hour. It was 2-0. We were not out of the game. A goal would have changed it. The crowd would have got up on their feet. The whole mood and tempo would have changed. Southampton would have changed. It would have retreated a bit more. Everything would have changed. But he almost gave up. It felt like Bilic was giving up, as if to go, we're not going to win. I'm just going to try and keep it 2-0. Oh, I'll need Fletcher. I'm going to try and get Fletcher on the pitch. Where will I put him? Left wing. Antonio's there. All right, you go on the right backs. Just go back in right back, please. You know, people talk about Bilic looking broken. Antonio looked broken again, trunching over to right back. What are you doing, Slab? The one highlight of the season. You should be protecting that. We spoke about protecting Dimitri Payet. Right now, you should be protecting Mikel Antonio. You should be protecting that boy's confidence, saying to him, look, we're third bottom, but it's not because of you. You're the reason we're third bottom and not rock bottom. You know, you should be building up the little confidence we've got. And I think we need to change tactics. He needs to look at what's working in the Premier League elsewhere. And you look at Arsenal, who are flying right now. You look at Liverpool, Man City. They're playing 4-3-3. Maybe not Man City, but they're playing 4-3-3. We need to start playing 4-3-3. It's working in the Premier League. That, to me, I don't think you even need to change personnel much. You just take Lanzini deeper and play him centre midfield. And instead of trying to create from behind the striker, you start trying to create from behind the front attacking midfielders. You take the playmaker deeper. The football has evolved. Teams have now cottoned on that you pack the defensive midfield as well as the centre midfield. You make it difficult. That's why Southampton have Romeo. That's why Chelsea have gone and spent 30 million on Kante. That's why teams have, like Arsenal have Coquelin, Man City have Fernandinho. They know the role of the defensive midfielder is just as or even more important than your attacking options right now. Right now, we're set up to play into the hands of the defensive midfielder. Stop doing that. Get Lanzini deeper and get someone who's got the creativity to find Payet, to find Antonio. Zaza is getting a lot of stick. I am watching Zaza on Sunday, especially in the first, not so much in the second. In the first half, he kept making runs. He kept dropping in between the two centre backs with his hand out saying, put it in the space and I will run onto it. No one tried it. Not one player tried that pass into the space for Zaza. Now, that's how Zaza wants to play. That's how we've got to feed him. And it's up to Bilic to work around that. For me, I want to see changes. I want to see 4-3-3. And I want to see Lanzini in there. I want to see either Obiang or Nordvik, defensive midfielder, and Czech go sit on the bench or play centre-back. Noble, this is your last chance for me. I'm a big Noble fan, and it's between Noble and Czech that gets dropped. And for me, I'm dropping Czech. But a crap performance on Saturday, and I'll change my mind. Charlie, we've heard from Gonzo about is he comped, is you comped, are you comped? And before I come to you, I'm just going to throw a couple of stats your way that's going to maybe fuzzle your brain a little second. We've actually won our last 7 home games against Middlesbrough. However, it was a different ground, and they've only scored more than once against us at our place. They've not done it since 1989. 1989 was the last time Middlesbrough scored 2 or more against us on our patch, and since then we've played 14 times and they've only scored 4 goals in that time. They must be the dream opposition, Charlie.
If we're going to do it, now's the time. Now's the team. Now's the time. It has to be done. As Gonzo said, if you're looking at, you're saying, okay, we need a win right now. You're thinking, okay, Middlesbrough, they're not amazing going forward at the moment. They're not as strong defensively as they should be. Now is the time. Am I confident? Not massively. I'm going into it thinking. I'm going into it looking more for the performance of the players and the attitude of the players than I am for the result on the pitch. But we need a win. We need it. We can't come out of this game with, like you've both said, without any regrets. But we can't come out of this game, in my opinion, with anything less than 3 points.
Well, I'll get these predictions from these in a minute. Make sure you comment our forum at hammerschat.com. Give us your opinion. Check out our YouTube sponsor, Royal London Watches. I should have said at the start. I totally forgot. But they're our new YouTube sponsor. They do West Ham watches as well. It's not just a random watch company. They're a partner of the official club. Prediction time, boys. We're not feeling very confident. Gonzo, what's your prediction for Saturday afternoon?
Well, it's not a prediction. It's an order. In as much as I'm ordering from the takeaway, I order a 1-0 win, because anything less just does not bear thinking about. A draw prolongs the agony. I'm very fearful. Talk about confidence. When Charlie's talking about confidence, I was thinking, actually, I'm quite fearful. I'm fearful of everything actually going on there. Sorry, I know you just asked for a prediction, but it's something I was thinking about when Charlie was talking. The players are going to need to do this. You can't expect any atmosphere from that stadium, I'm afraid, on this one. Not because of the stadium or the seats or anything like that, just purely because I just think it's because it is so new and we've had such a bad run. It's going to be hard for the crowd to sustain any level of excitement to start off with. I think we need an early goal from the team to then bring the atmosphere into the stadium. So I order a 1-0 win for West Ham. Am I confident? No. And
what are you predicting?
Well, the prediction is the order. It can only be that. But the truth is, Gio, the truth is I don't even believe it. The truth is I didn't even want to do this video tonight because I'm just so downbeat about the whole thing. And I'm sorry. It's just really, really hard to stay positive. It's just really hard. So I predict a 1-0 win. I don't even know if I believe it myself. Sorry.
Charlie, your prediction, please.
I predict 0-0. I want it to be more than that. I want us to win 2-0. I want us to look confident on the pitch, but I can't see it happening a 0-0.
I'm going 2-1. I think during the week with this meal thing, it looks like we're trying something. We're doing something. Bilic has obviously realised there's a problem. Mark Noble's interview after the game was very honest. He basically pointed his finger at his teammates and said, "You guys need to buck up here," as well as himself. He did say that the players would take the blame, etc. And it's about time we've seen some genuine honesty coming out of the club. And I think we're getting it this week. I think there's been a bit of a reality shock, a bit of electric clamps on the nipples type thing from Martin Noble or something. I think there's been a bit of a jolt, a dose of reality, if you like, that you're going to have to work for this stadium. You don't just move into a stadium and become better than you were. You need to work for it. And you know something, I'm not actually scared. I'm not scared of relegation. And for some reason, I don't fear relegation. Even if we went down, for some reason it doesn't scare me as much as it used to. I don't know why. And I don't want to see Bilic sacked. Even if we lost on Saturday, I'm still behind Bilic. I don't want to see Bilic gone. I don't know what it is. Is it because of what Bilic gave me last season? Is that giving me very tinted glasses? I don't know. Gonzo before we disappear.
We like him. We like him. That's why everyone is willing him to do well. We want Bilic to succeed. He's a nice guy. He's a nice manager. The last manager we had was completely unlikable. It was such a shame what's happened, of course, to him. But Bilic, we like. We love Bilic, and no one bears him any ill feeling. We're fully behind him. We're fully supported. But it's not about us. It's not about us. He can't go 3 more games without a win, because it would actually mean that we would need to average something like 2 points a game thereafter to be safe, and that's a tough ask. So he's not going to stay there all season losing. We want him to stay. We want him to pull it round, but that's why. That's not we're not egging him on. That's not why we're not calling for his head. But he needs to sort it out. Otherwise, things are going to get nasty.
Yeah, I mean, the next 3 ones are a big one. Middlesbrough home, Palace away, Sunderland at home. 3 huge games for going a tough one. But anyway, that's our thoughts. It's been a long show, but there's been a lot to talk about. Let us know what you think below on the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us. Make sure you're a subscriber of Hammers Chat here. And also come on to our forum at hammerschat.com. Anyway, we look forward to seeing some of you on our boats on Saturday afternoon. Here's hoping that we'll win. And here's hoping the review, which will be on our channel late on Saturday night, is a happy one.